Now we begin this afternoon program with a presentation focusing on local content policy and its role in strengthening industry capability and also the localization outcomes. To get an overview of local content priorities in the heavy equipment sector, please welcome our speaker, Mr. Saleh Al-Ghamdi, the Business Development Analyst from the Local Content and Government Procurement Authority. Let's give him a very warm welcome.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be with you today to present the role of local content and government procurement authority and its effort to enhance local content, particularly in strategic sectors such as heavy equipment. Let me briefly walk you through the agenda. I will start with an overview of the authority, then explain how local content is measured. After that, I will highlight the local content mechanism, followed by our main services and initiatives. So, starting with the brief overview, the Local Content and Government Procurement Authority was established by a royal decree in late 2018, based on a recommendation from the Council of Economic and Development Affairs. The main objective was to support and promote local content and ensure government procurement plays a stronger role in driving the national economic value. And this mandate is guided by a clear vision and mission. Our vision is to empower local content, local potential, and leverage national purchasing power to build a strong and sustainable economy. And this vision is translated into action through our mission, where our mission is focusing on developing national-driven policies and raising awareness and participation in local development across all targeted segments. Our work is guided by 5 core values. First is delivering impact, collaboration, sustainability, innovation, and empowerment. These values shape how we design our policies and engaging with the stakeholders and deliver measurable outcomes. I will now move to how we actually measure the local content in practice. Simply put, we look at how much an entity can spend locally across 4 main components, which is goods and services, asset depreciation, compensation, and capacity building. These local expenditure are then divided by the total expenditure, resulting in local content percentage. In LCGPA, we have 6 mechanisms across 3 levels, which is project level, product level, and investment level. In project level, we have local content score and financial evaluation, and the minimum local content threshold, which will be discussed in details in the coming slide. For the product level, we have price premium initiative for the local products, where we're granting national products price preference by adding 10% to foreign products in the government tenders. And then we have the mandatory list. To date, we have until about 1,700 products where the contractor is required to adhere to when purchasing products through government tenders. Lastly, in an investment level, we have industry localization knowledge transfer, where offtake agreement in case of industry localization or knowledge transfer is agreed upon. And lastly, economic participation, where it applies in the contracts that has imported goods and services valued above 100 million. So currently, local content mechanism covering the heavy equipment sector through the minimum local content threshold and the local content score in financial evaluation. So regarding this mechanism, minimum local content threshold, this mechanism excludes companies that don't meet the minimum targeted local content percentage and grant preference to competing companies with higher local percentage at entity level. So for example, if we have a government tender and we analyze the bill of quantities and good items in the government tender, we set a minimum targeted percentage at the project level in coordination with the government entity. For example, here the minimum targeted percentage was 53, and there was two bidders. One of them is submitted a target percentage that is 54, and the other bidder B, is submitted 47 targeted percentage. So immediately the bidder B will be excluded since he doesn't meet the minimum targeted percentage 53. So one of the key drivers behind the higher local content percentage among service providers is their reliance on local assets, as well as to be disseminated through this presentation. So for the local content score in financial evaluation, this mechanism grants preference to competing companies as the local content percentage of the entity baseline increase, and further preference as the targeted local percentage increase. So this mechanism depends on 60% of the financial evaluation, and the other 40% depends on three components, which is targeted local content percentage, the baseline percentage, and lastly, if it's listed in the financial market, which will have an increase of 5%. So, for example, if a government, for this government tender, if the bidder B, if the bidder one has price offer 246,000 and his baseline was 25, and the target percentage was 50%, and it's not listed in the financial market. And also for the bidder two, his price offer was 250, more than the bidder one, and his baseline was 55, and he targeted a percentage of 60, and also he's not listed in the financial market. So after calculating the weight of the local content in a financial evaluation based on this equation, the bidder two will won the tender. So despite the bidder one submitting a lower price offer, bidder two was awarded due to submitting higher local content percentage. So moving to the rental activities, when examining the rental activities, the local content measurement mechanism reflects how the local content percentage of service providers is influenced by their level of spending on local assets. So, for example, here, if we have two bidders, if we have two rental service providers, A and B, where the rental service provider A take his assets or local equipment from a local manufacturer, this where the local manufacturer have a higher percentage, this will reflect in his local percentage in entity level. So it will be reflected in asset depreciation. Where the rental service provider B gets his equipment from a foreign manufacturer, so this will impact his percentage, which will be, of course, lower than the service provider A that is take his equipment from a local manufacturer. So any change or in the source of the entity asset has a direct impact on the entity local content percentage. So the provider A, the service provider A, have the advantage in winning the government tenders. Now, LCGPA is currently working on a mechanism that directly contributes to the development of local content within rental activities, adding a provision to the local content preference regulation to impose condition and requirement for specific projects. So, which includes the following regulatory text in the local content preference regulation enables the authority to impose local content condition or requirements for a specific project related to the value chain of goods specified in the government tender documents in accordance with the general provision. So, for example, here, if we have a government tender that has services like the drilling services, and it's required drilling equipment such as excavators, the drilling machine, TBM, and others. And there is actually a local capabilities in the excavator. So the LCGPA might set a condition that will be in tender specification and the documents as follow. Rental of, as wrote here, rental of construction excavator manufactured locally. So lastly, regarding the LCGPA services and initiatives, it's include, for the service, it's include issuing local content certificates, adding products to the mandatory list, registering a factory or service provider, applying for localization of industry knowledge transfer, issuing targets local percentage, and inquiring about local content score. And for the initiative, we are encouraging small and medium factories to issue the local certificates. So once a small or medium factories issue the certificates, it can be covered the cost of auditing local content or part of it by the LCGPA. Secondly, the local content partnership initiative. It's an initiative that aims to enhancing the contribution of public and private sector in terms of content through strategic partnership. And we have local content award and local content forum. This is the end of our presentation. You are most welcome to visit us in our booth here in the exhibition. And we are happy, our team will be happy to answer any question or discussing any opportunities. Thank you for listening and attention.
Thank you, Engineer Saleh, for this rich presentation.